Wow, what did you think about that movie? Isn't it so powerful? If you haven't watched the intro lesson to this bonus module, please go back and do that now. The movie is really powerful and eye-opening, and it sets the stage for the important information I'm going to share next. In Lesson 2, we are going to be kicking the chemicals to the curb. We're going to be talking about the importance of getting rid of chemicals in your home, what these chemicals are, and what they're doing to our health. And I'm going to give you some tools about what to get rid of, where to start. I promise you it might sound scary to start, but I'm going to guide you through it and leave you with some simple changes you can make, which over time will lead to big results. I think it is so fascinating and also somewhat angering to know that when it comes to the products on our shelves, it is really up to us to police them. There is no set regulation when it comes to labeling. So first of all, I think it is fascinating to know that when it comes to the products on our shelves, it is really up to us to police them. There is no set regulation when it comes to labeling. There are something like 100,000 chemicals on the market today. They are in our shampoo, our products, our cleaners, our couches, our kids' pajamas. And the Toxic Substance Control Act, the TSCA Act of 1976, grandfathered these chemicals in. What does that mean to you? Well, simply put, these chemicals have not had any safety testing, and we know very little information about their side effects. And of those chemicals tested, toxic labeling is only required if 50% or more of the animals tested die. And under this TSCA, manufacturers are protected by secret trade laws that allow them to keep their ingredients list a secret. For example, fragrance is a catch-all term, which could include 3,000 chemicals that companies do not have to divulge. It's bonkers. That leaves us at risk because we do not know enough about these products to make an informed decision. We live in a world where a lot of the things are greenwashed and words like organic and natural are thrown around but basically have no meaning behind them. The thing is, it is preventable. When you know better, you do better. Now, with all this in mind, I want you to think about the following statistics. Since the 1940s, prostate cancer is up 200%. Thyroid cancer is up 155%. Brain cancer is up 70%. Breast cancer is up 60%. And childhood cancer is up 35%. The American Cancer Society estimates a 50% rise in cancer rates by 2020. The quality of air inside your home is 5 to 7 times more toxic than outdoor air quality, and 50% of illnesses are actually caused by poor indoor air quality. Asthma has increased 42% in 1 decade, which is thought to be due to the exposure of all these chemicals in our homes. One thing that fascinates me as a mom is that what my grandmother was exposed to when she was pregnant with my mom, I was also exposed to. Because as girls and women, all our eggs are already formed during that gestation period. So it is absolutely essential that we talk about this subject, because if we want our future generations to have any hope when it comes to their health, we need to talk about this. In a study conducted by the Environmental Working Group, researchers at 2 major laboratories found an average of 200 industrial chemicals and pollutants in umbilical cord. 200 chemicals! Of the over 280 chemicals in this study, 180 cause cancer in humans or animals, 217 are toxic to the brain and nervous system, and 208 cause birth defects or abnormal development in animal tests. So now the question is, what can we do? Well, in order to live life to its fullest and enjoy every part, we really need to be putting our effort and energy into living above the wellness line. Things like informed choices, health, high energy, graceful aging, being proactive, positive thinking, and toxin-free living. We really want to try hard not to live below the wellness line with things like disease, fatigue, medical bills, negativity, sickness, cancer, and chronic illness. But what can we do? How do we live above the line? Well, as we have seen, we are what we eat. And if we eat healthy, if we exercise, if we do our best to read labels and reduce the toxins in our homes, if we're conscious about what clothes we wear and what products we use on our skin, and I personally think using essential oils can significantly contribute to living above the line because they can help with so many body functions. As you can see, this is something we need to be taking seriously. No one is watching your home and what you are using on yourself and your children every day, except for you. You are the gatekeeper. Most of us do not know that there's an issue or what chemicals to even look for. Our homes are one of the most dangerous places for our health. There are more things in your home right now that you're exposed to every single day that could be killing you or at least exposing you to all of these diseases that are on the rise. It should not be like this. Where are these chemicals? Well, I mentioned that they are in the foods that we eat, the air we breathe, in our home and outside our home, in the soil that our plants are growing in and that our animals are feeding on, in our water, in the products that we use. On average, we each have approximately 700 synthetic chemicals in our body from all of these different places. One of the big culprits is our crib mattresses. These are a silent danger in the nursery, releasing up to 30 volatile organic compounds, or VOCs, at an alarming rate. These VOCs are associated with things like cancer, skin irritations, respiratory issues, endocrine imbalances. A chemical called chlorinated tris is still in most crib mattresses. This was banned from kids' pajamas in North America after being linked to cancer in the laboratory. But it's still lurking in crib mattresses, changing table pads, high chair pads, etc., etc. Some advice and recommendations could be invest in an organic wool mattress. These are really expensive, but this is something that is on my list to save for. If you must buy a regular mattress that potentially has these chemicals, unwrap it and put it outside for at least 24 hours, preferably in the hot sun. Use a recycled mattress, as it has already had time to emit the VOCs. Just make sure it's not made before 2009 because there's different chemicals that were in it then. Avoid crib mattresses made in China. This goes for toys and other baby products as well. The regulations in China are way more lax than other parts of the world. Look for mattresses certified by Green Guard or Oecotech. So here's a brief list of chemicals that are found in many conventional household products such as shampoos, conditioners, body washes, bubble bath, lotion, scented candles and plug-ins, cleaning products, deodorants, cosmetics, etc., etc. These ingredients have been shown to cause disruptions in the endocrine system, skin irritations, rashes, respiratory distress, headaches, nausea, and so much more. I have attached a handout under this video with more information about the specific dangers for each of these chemicals. I don't mention this to scare you, but just to make you aware of how much junk is in our everyday conventional products and how these can potentially be contributing to our society getting sicker and sicker. I know that even though I was conscious about eating organic and trying to detox my cleaning products at home, it wasn't until I had my first child that I really started reading the labels more closely and learning about all the hidden dangers lurking in our cabinets. It's really crazy and it's scary. Over the past 3.5 years, I have been slowly ditching and switching the products that we use so that I am confident we are not overloading our bodies with these toxins. And small changes lead to big results. So take it one step at a time. This is important for us to share with the families we work with as well, as this all contributes to the overall health and well-being of our babies and our children. Why are these chemicals a threat to our health? Well, they're easily absorbed. We breathe, we absorb, and we ingest these chemicals. They're also mass-produced. Billions of pounds of chemicals are released each year. There's too little testing. There's just not enough studies about all of these chemicals. There's a heavy use of pesticides that are used in gardens, in homes, and in schools. And environmental persistence. So these chemicals actually persist for decades. And so they also have a cumulative effect in that regard. Next, I want to look at this catch-all term, fragrance, because this is one of the most deceptive ingredients that we find in almost all of our products. Fragrance is found in most personal care products, including sunscreen, shampoo, soap, body wash, deodorant, body lotion, makeup, facial cream, skin toner, serums, exfoliating scrubs, and perfume. It literally is in everything, even in clothes sometimes. Have you ever bought some new clothes and they have a certain smell to them? and that smell actually stays on the clothes for a few weeks after you buy them? Yep, that's fragrance. So what to look for on the label? Words like fragrance, perfume, parfum, essential oil blend, aroma, all of these are like a catch-all category. This can literally include about 3,000 chemicals in just that one word. Most websites will rate this as a 9 in terms of toxicity, so one of the most toxic ingredients. We are seeing more and more people suffering from chemical sensitivities because our bodies are just so full of these chemicals. This fragrance is not just in perfume, and it's not just in deodorant. Think about when you go to the hairdresser and they shampoo your hair and that smell lasts for days or even weeks. Or when you have dryer sheets that say they smell fresh for months. That should not be happening. We should not be having these smells last for months. That's not normal or natural. It's all chemical. Many of these chemicals are considered endocrine disruptors. But before we jump into why these endocrine disruptor chemicals are important for us to know about, let's just take a quick look at the endocrine system and what that is. So the endocrine system is made up of the following organs and glands. There's the pineal gland, which produces melatonin, which is a serotonin-derived hormone which affects sleep patterns. There's the hypothalamus, which controls body hunger, thirst, temperature, also related to fatigue and sleep. Then there's the pituitary gland. This is often called our master gland. This is related to growth, blood pressure, thyroid glands, metabolism, some aspects of sex hormones in pregnancy, childbirth, nursing, kidneys, and pain relief as well. The thyroid is the next one, which controls how our body uses energy. Does anyone feel sluggish from time to time? That's your thyroid that is not working all that well. The thyroid makes proteins, which help control the body's sensitivity to other hormones as well. There's the thymus, which helps with the immune system. The pancreas helps with the digestive system and also controls our blood sugar levels. The adrenals produce hormones that we can't live without, including sex hormones and cortisol. Cortisol controls our fight or flight response. But the adrenals are actually a majorly taxed area in our bodies these days because we're just so stressed out as a population. And then there's your sex glands in terms of reproductive glands. Essentially, the endocrine system is involved in sleep, immune system, digestion, energy, and basically every function of the human body in one way or another. And endocrine disruptors are chemicals that may interfere with the body's endocrine system and produce adverse developmental, reproductive, neurological, and immune effects in both humans and in wildlife. So these endocrine disruptors are the most concerning of the chemicals because their effects are compounding generationally. A lot of these are not able to get out of our bodies, and this affects us in so many different ways. The World Health Organization came out with a report called State of Science of Endocrine Disrupting Chemicals, which suggests that a ban of endocrine disrupting chemicals may be needed to protect the health of future generations. This is scary and disheartening. It's sad. If you think about the issues that you're seeing in the people that you know or that you love, or even in yourself, these are big problems and they're just growing bigger. And then many of these chemicals are also known as carcinogens. According to the cancer.org website, there are 110 known, 72 probable, and 203 reasonably anticipated human carcinogens that they know of. And these are just the separate chemicals. But then there are also the reactions that happen when you combine them. This is a very scary thing. So you might be thinking, how do these chemicals really affect us? And should we really be concerned? Or maybe you're thinking things like, it's such a small amount, can it really make that much of a difference? Or I use these products all the time and I'm fine. Or maybe I just buy whatever's on sale. There are two concepts that I want to point out that kind of blew my mind when I learned about them. The first one is the concept of the cocktail effect. This is the concept that in isolation, a substance can be relatively safe, but can become harmful when combined with another substance. There is literally no way of knowing how the ingredients in our shampoo, for example, react with our body wash or our lotion, etc. So essentially, we are kind of like a big human experiment. And then there's the concept of body burden. This is the healthy until you're not concept. Picture yourself as a glass, and you have this nice, clean, pure water. That is your body. And then you add in a little shampoo, and your lotion and your perfume and your baby wash, and you add in all these different things and you put on stress and trauma and everything else that we have in our lives. And then your body decides that it just can't handle it anymore and your body shuts down. And then we get sick or we get some other kind of disease. So this means that these toxic chemicals that are found in almost every conventional product that we use accumulate in the human body, and many of them may even have that cocktail effect, so that when two chemicals are combined, they create even more harmful effects. And over the years, we get exposed to a ton of different ingredients. This continuous exposure overloads our natural detoxification systems and leads to a buildup of these agents within our bodies, which then leads to weaker immune systems and our bodies getting sicker and sicker. Why do you think we see so much more sensitivity and body issues like eczema? Our livers are so overloaded and our skin takes over some of this detoxifying, and this is why we are seeing so many of these skin issues. Think back to those stats that I shared in the beginning of this presentation. Here are a few more. In 1984, infertility was about 5%. In 2010, it tripled to 14 to 16%, and this is growing even higher today. And let's mention the big C word, cancer. Do you know someone who has experienced cancer, whether personally or in someone that they love? The statistics in Canada right now are that 1 in 2 people will develop cancer in their lifetime and 1 in 4 will die of the disease. That is not okay. And childhood cancer is also increasing as well. We're seeing more of these scary statistics every single day, every single year. And then there's autism. Researchers are agreeing that there are some environmental links to autism, and so we really need to start looking and questioning what is in our environment that is leading to these increases in statistics and occurrences of diseases in today's society versus 30 years ago. Genetically, we haven't changed, so there has to be something in our environment that is making this happen. So yes, these chemicals are affecting these rises in various conditions. And what kind of world do we want our children to be growing up and having their own families in? We really need to be looking at the root of these. What products are we using? What is our diet like? We have to look at everything, our pots and pans, our kids' pajamas. Did you know that the flame retardant used in kids' pajamas is linked to things like aggressive behavior? So look for that little yellow label that says, not flame resistant. Those are actually the ones that you want. But that label is there to put fear into the general public to not buy those ones because they're not flame resistant. This flame retardant is added to our couches too. So just be aware when you're shopping for those kinds of things. Toxic chemicals are making us sick and are also affecting the way we feel and think. They affect every part of our body and overall well-being. And yes, our society is moving towards more green and natural, but this has also left us, the consumers, unsure of where to begin and unsure as to which products are truly green and safe to use. We're now faced with the phenomena called greenwashing, which means that many cleaners are labeled safe, non-toxic, and green, but can still contain hazardous ingredients. How or why? Because there's still no regulation when it comes to labeling. And for me, this is where essential oils comes in, and moving more towards plant-based products and away from synthetic chemicals. So where should we start? We don't have control over everything. Obviously, we don't have control over things when we walk outside our home, but we do have control over our own home and the products that we use. I have control over my family and what I use on my family. I get to choose what comes into my house and what my family uses. I choose what products I spend my money on. So with that, I am reclaiming control. I know that this is a lot of information, and this is a process that we can't get rid of everything in a day. It takes some time and it takes some learning, but it's all about the small steps. So there's a lot of information out there, but knowing what to look for is so important. Some of my favorite resources when it comes to this information are David Suzuki's Dirty Dozen Ingredients List. Google it and see what to look for and why. Then there's the Environmental Working Group website, which rates the different ingredients. You can download the app Think Dirty or the Environmental Working Group's Healthy Living app, and you can actually scan the barcode of many of your products and it'll show you where they rate in terms of their ingredients. And I urge you to start scanning the products that are currently in your cupboards, in your homes. So, what's the first step? Well, you've already started. By coming to this class today, you have made the first step. You have shown that you are open to learning about these chemicals, which then helps you to avoid them, stop using products that have them, and therefore start taking control of your health and wellness. Start small, start slow, start with what you're convinced on. A simple first step is to start reading the ingredients of the foods you eat. If you can't pronounce it, don't eat it. This doesn't mean you can't have ice cream, and I love ice cream. Just go for the ice cream with milk, sugar, eggs, and vanilla instead of an ingredient list of 35 items you can't pronounce. My suggestion is to focus on the things that you are using most often during the day and every day. Think about the items that you're using in the first 30 minutes of your day and what is the cumulative effect. How do they stack up? What is their rating with the app? If they're an 8 or above, throw them out ASAP. If they're a 4, then maybe you replace it once that bottle is done. The biggest offenders in our homes are things like laundry soap, fabric softener and dryer sheets, dishwasher soap, cleaning supplies, candles, and plug-ins. Definitely toss the air fresheners and plug-ins, toilet deodorizers, candles, and anything like that. Get those out ASAP. Again, looking back at what we learned about fragrance, air fresheners also contain things like formaldehyde, petrochemicals, and aerosol pollutant. Many of these chemicals actually attack your sense of smell with these chemicals versus just masking the smell with a more pleasant smell. So these make you not perceive an unwanted odor. You can actually use natural products to freshen your air, like a diffuser and some essential oils, which purify and cleanse the air without sacrificing your health. And not to mention that there's also a lot of health benefits to using these different essential oils. Watch out for items that say not tested on animals. That is great that they're not being tested on animals, but that means that they're testing those products on you. You are the test subject for those products. Some other big culprits are hand soap and toothpaste. A lot of toothpaste has triclosan in it, which is an antibacterial agent and doesn't discriminate between good and bad bacteria, and it kills it all, which actually makes room for the drug-resistant bacteria to come in and start breeding. We actually need the good bacteria in our mouth and in our gut to start digesting food properly, and it all starts in our mouth, and if we kill it, it's just bad news. And especially the kids' toothpaste with the different kinds of kid-friendly flavors, bubble mint or blue ice or strawberry or whatnot. There is no bubble mint trees or plants. I mean, it sounds delicious, but where's that flavor coming from? The reality is that those are catch-all ingredients and we don't know what is in them. And then there's fluoride. There are a number of studies that look at fluoride and its impact on our pineal gland. Remember, that was part of our endocrine system and our brains. So it may harden our teeth, but at what expense? At what cost? So what do I choose? How did I start? Well, I choose Young Living. This is what we use in our home. I started with the essential oils because the oils were my gateway into this overhaul into toxin-free living. And I'm not perfect. We did not ditch and switch everything all at once, and I'm still working on getting my husband to ditch his toxic shaving cream and aftershave and cologne, but small changes. I tackled the kids' stuff first, the things we use daily as a family, and I can now say that we have replaced all of our kids' things and all of our cleaning products. I've ditched all my personal care products, and either I make my own face serum and also body butter, or we buy the ready-made Young Living brand for shampoo, body wash, etc. And I'm slowly replacing our supplements and my makeup. Yes, even makeup has a lot of toxins in it. One of my favorite products that Young Living makes is actually the Thieves Household Cleaner. And well, actually the whole Thieves line of cleaning products is so amazing. We diffuse Thieves during cough and cold season to purify the air, and we rub it on the bottom of our feet daily to boost our immune system. The household cleaner is actually a safe alternative to commercial cleaners and is such a staple in our house. And it smells so good. We use it for everything, meaning that we literally got rid of our separate cleaners for toilets, mirrors, floors, etc. and we just use the Thieves cleaner now. Also love that it's very concentrated, so one capful goes a long way. And guess what? The best part is it doesn't have a poison control image or wording on it, meaning that it's totally fine if accidentally ingested. Let's just talk about cleaning a bit, since this is something that we all do. Canadians spend more than $275 million a year on household cleaning products. And we also know that 3 million Canadians have asthma. Asthma costs Canadians $12 billion per year. We also know that there's a general agreement that exposure to home cleaning chemicals in industrial and household cleaning products can cause asthma. Bleach, air fresheners, furniture polish, etc. All of those. Think about what you're seeing in daycares, schools. There's a lot of bleach going on. We have to be considering what we're using when cleaning, especially around our kids. What is in your cleaning products? There's no regulation for labeling, and according to the EWG, just 7% of cleaning products adequately disclose their ingredients. Let's just take a step back and use some common sense and remove the fear-based marketing and what we're told. Think about it. Isn't it strange that we wipe our counters, ovens, sinks, and dishes with toxic chemicals to get them clean? If your cleaner has a poison or corrosive sticker on it, would common sense not force you to ask the question of what is really more dangerous? The natural things that are occurring in nature, for example, plants, or these chemicals that I'm using in our laboratory-made cleaners? So what my family has done and what we have chosen is that we've replaced all the cleaners that we have with the Young Living Thieves household cleaner, as I mentioned. And it's formulated 100% plant and mineral-based ingredients, it's biodegradable, and it complies with EPA standards. Best of all, it's safe for infants, pets, and even those with sensitive respiratory systems. And my favorite part is that it costs less than $1 a bottle, and you can use it to clean your entire home. Fabric softeners and dryer sheets. These are some of the worst offenders in our homes, as I mentioned just before. I've recently experienced this with borrowing clothes or getting used clothes from a friend, for example, because they smell like chemicals. It's from the fabric softener and the dryer sheets. I tried to wash them, but even after 3 wash cycles, I couldn't get the smell out, so I had to just give them away. Dryer sheets came from back when our clothes started to become more synthetically made with things like polyester. And they realized that when this polyester was heated or dried, they actually started to stink. And so then they started adding all this fragrance to the dryer sheets to combat the stink. And just think, our clothes are on our skin all day and all night for many of us. Even if you sleep in the nude, you're still sleeping on sheets, which are still getting washed. And remember, our skin is our largest organ, so everything that comes in contact with it goes onto our skin, gets absorbed, and then gets into our body and bloodstream. So think about not only your dryer sheets, but also laundry detergent, stain sticks, and anything else you might be using on your clothes. To give you a sense of just how easy this ditching and switching can be, I'm going to just quickly share my laundry routine with you. And I have 2 kids and we do a lot of laundry. So I generally use the Thieves hand soap and some lemon essential oil, or sometimes just the undiluted Thieves household cleaner to pre-treat any stains. Then I wash the laundry with the laundry soap. You only need about a teaspoon to do a load of laundry because it really doesn't have any fillers in it, so it's very concentrated. And sometimes your clothes may feel a bit more stiff when using these natural laundry products, so you can definitely add some vinegar if you feel the need to soften your clothes. You just add that into your rinse cycle. And then I use wool dryer balls in our dryer, and I just put some essential oils onto those to give them a little bit of a scent to them. And the wool dryer balls actually cut the drying time, they decrease the static, and they make the clothes smell great if you're using essential oils as well. And just a little tidbit that I thought was really interesting, it's actually the buildup of chemicals in your dryer that causes the static on your clothes. So give it time to decrease that buildup and maybe even just clean your dryer out. It's kind of scary. Let's revisit this quote that I had at the beginning. Research is showing an average of 200 chemicals found in umbilical cord blood. That's crazy. These chemicals are found in unborn babies, which means that these chemicals are being absorbed by the mother. So the question then becomes, what are we doing to ourselves? Whew, so that was a lot. Okay, so now what? I have given you all this information, but what do you do with it? Full disclosure, I am a Young Living distributor and I love their products. We have switched almost all of our products over time to Young Living products. I initially signed up with Young Living as a wholesale member because I wanted to pay less money and I wanted to save the 24% off of retail price. I actually had zero intention of being part of the business, and truthfully, I was quite turned off by the whole network marketing thing. But I fell in love with the products and then I started sharing, and that led into this now being one of my businesses. So here's why I choose Young Living. Many of Young Living's products have multiple uses. For example, I brush my teeth with a Thieves toothpaste, and I also use it as my deodorant. Essential oils can be used in endless DIY projects, body sprays, hair and body care, and a gazillion other recipes. Young Living really is the real deal. They have authentic integrity. Their ingredient lists are full disclosure, and as new research comes out, they are constantly changing and upgrading their products, removing ingredients that might not be the best currently, or if they're even questionable, then they just remove them. They have had actually many products reformulated over the years as a result of this. Young Living's founder, Gary Young, has been quoted to say, "I don't make products for a profit, I make products for a purpose." Essential oils actually last a really long time because you only need 1 to 2 drops and they can be used for so many things. So if you're not using oils, get on it. Whether you choose Young Living or another brand, the choice is totally yours. Just make sure you do your research and especially look closely at the ingredients. If you do decide that you want to give Young Living products a try, you can order them online. You just go to www.youngliving.com. Select the country you live in, and then you make an account for yourself. If you use my member number as your sponsor and enroller number, my member number is 1692595, then I do get a small commission from every purchase that you make. So you're essentially supporting my small business and buying local. And not only that, but you also get my personalized support to answer any questions you may have about your journey into the world of toxin-free living, but you'll also be joining a thriving private online community with thousands of members cheering you on. And as an added bonus, when you get started with one of their starter kits, I will provide you with a handful of powerful resources to get you started with confidence in a welcome package mailed directly to you. Together, we've got this. Thank you for joining me in this class. I hope you got some value from it. And don't forget, when you know better, you can do better. In Lesson 2 of this bonus module, we learned about why we want to live above the wellness line. We also looked at some of the chemicals that are lurking in our everyday household and personal care products, and even our mattresses, and really how these are affecting our health and contributing to the influx of diseases we now have in our society. We discussed where to start and looked at some easy switches to make. Up next, we're going to have a brief lesson on gut health and the microbiome and why these are very important for us in terms of our overall health and wellness as well.